in keeping with this theme, we wanted to go back to one of our recurring bits, the overrated, underrated. And Jim actually gave us this one. Think Skylanders and Disney Infinity, all the games that require you to buy, I don't know what else to call them other than bases, like toy bases that you put on a little stand and you play that character in the game.
Figurines with the chips on them.
Yeah.
Stores, characters, stats, and all that crap.
I feel like there's a few more, but those are the two best examples that everyone knows.
Lego Dimensions, apparently the best third party game on the Wii.
Yeah. So Jim and I, in full disclosure, have never played either one of them.
I've only played a very tiny bit.
Although it is funny because my mom was at a thrift store, a consignment thing, and found a giant bag of the Skylanders with the stuff in it. And she got it for my son. She's like, oh, he'd like these toys. I don't even know if I still have the base, but we have the toys that he plays with because they're goddamn cool looking toys.
Actually, back in 2012, 2013, we were in Walmart and we're like, should we buy starter sets?
I know. We kind of
we were like a con hair away from buying at least like starter kits of each.
So for the purpose of this,
the toys look cool.
I'm going to be the underrated. Jim's overrated. So I'll go first because underrated usually goes first. Once again, neither of us have played it, so we don't have as much skin in the game. And I'll try to take it light on Jim for him to try to put something good together. And remember, no interrupting. Can you be a gentleman?
I'll be a goddamn gentleman. I'm always a gentleman.
All right. So as a kid, one of the things I always wished was that the toys I was playing with, I could play with in a game. And there were tons of games that, like Spawn and RoboCop. It doesn't matter. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where you did have games. But I did have a lot of nondescript toys that I never got to see in a video game. I thought they were really cool. And to be honest, I'd have to show you guys the next time we do this. I don't even know the names of them right now. But I would always play with them the way I wanted to. And I was always like, man, it'd be cool to play them with video games. Because this is during the Super NES Genesis. So when you see these toys, now they're all from franchises that are well known, except Skylanders, I don't think was a thing before the video games.
No, it was an offshoot of Spyro at first.
Okay, so as Jim actually said right at the beginning, there is zero denying the toys look really freaking cool, and some of them are my son's actual favorites because they're so goddamn detailed and colorful, and some of them can be like this big. I mean, some of them are size-wise are insane. The gimmick of playing them in a game, I can't speak to how well the games are, but they're simple enough because they're really geared towards younger kids. This idea satisfies so many niches that I really love. You got a toy thing, you got a collector thing, and you got a video game thing. So you kind of get all three of them into one. So for a collector like Jim, he could collect all the ones he wants and actually get good use out of it versus just being a shelf collector and letting it sit there and just bah. And the nice part is you don't need to buy multiple games for it. You have one base game and the fact that you just keep buying toys. So it extends the longevity of a game, which is something Jim and I have always wrestled with, which is I hate these games that come out year after year after year. Sure, there were expansion or DLCs and future games, but the base game still supported numerous toys that came out later. So even if you got tired of the game, eventually a new character comes out, you buy it, and you can play it in game. I love the shit out of it. So it's not only extending the value of your game in the long run, but it gives you something nice to collect and play with in future years. And the nicest part of all that is it's a beautiful form of capitalism. And you can't really deny it because it is a money-making machine, but you are getting some value out of it. Now, unfortunately, all these are pretty much done. Me and Jim were trying to figure that out, but it's not like you can't play them anymore. As long as you got the figures and you got the base, you can still play the games. So for me, this idea had not been done before. I love it because it's very unique. It offers you a multitude of different things to enjoy about it, and it really helps support capitalism. And if you don't like that, then you're a commie. So Jim, how is it overrated, commie?
Well, Bri, for the very same reason that your son loves it and the fact that no one cares about it and no one holds on to it. If these were so good, these would be things that people would hold on to, cherish. Especially when you're a kid, your favorite toys as a kid, especially since it's geared towards the younger ones out there, you think it would be something that they would have more connection to, hold on to, want to have more. You know where you find these for the most part? You find them at Five Below's Unbought, and you find them by the trash bag full at thrift stores. At this point, no one cares about it. It was a fad, had its time, it came and it went. The games themselves, yes, they are geared towards kids, but you think maybe as a lark people would want to go back to it, but when you go to GameStops, you see these for 99 cents. Doesn't matter what system, what console. No one gives a crap about them. It's not a single thing that anyone wants to go back to. So no one's apparently holding on to it as a toy collector. No one's holding on to the games as a game collector. No one's holding on to the gimmick at all. And you find bases all over the place. So they kept throwing base after you, which you only needed one base. So it's giving you clutter. It's adding pollution. It's wasting natural resources, Brian, for all of this out there. Not like you can truly recycle them. No one recycles them except for Goodwills. So it's the kind of thing where it's the worst parts of gaming, just put physically. Because when it comes down to it, it's physical DLC. So sure, the good part is you actually have something tangible. But for a big part of it, you have something that no one wants to keep tangible, and it instantly becomes useless. And I think for LEGO Dimensions, for the most part, I think with the servers being dead, a lot of the whole world building stuff's already gone too. So it's not like you can even go back and fully get the use out of your stuff, because if it's not supported, it just kind of goes poof, and you have wasted plastic on your hands. So overall, it had a little bit of a time. It was like, oh, this is a neat little tchotchke. Then it's like, oops, this is gone. No one cares anymore. So even if for the people who do love it, how can it be overrated if no one A, talks about it anymore, and B, the ones who did like it don't even care enough to hold on to it?
You done?
Yeah, sure.
So thank you for proving my points. 1, we're talking about right now. 2, the fact that it is cheap means it's perfect for collectors, because people could go out and get a whole bunch of it, and it restarts the cycle.
Yeah, but no one's collecting it, though.
But you could, couldn't you?
In theory.
And I mean, if you wanted to use that same logic, then you could say Wii stuff was really cheap and garbage because it's super cheap now because they made too much of it. And you know why there's a surplus of things? Because it was on such high demand. And then people just, like most products, naturally move on because they wanted to give the people what they wanted. And then people did move on to other games and other things. So now it is cheap. So there's a surplus. But that's perfect for collectors, Jim. Like you.
Yeah, but I'm a collector, and even I don't give a shit about it.
Well, because you're not overpaying for it. You only like things you overpay for. Like the TurboGrafx. Like half your video games that you got are obscure Japanese games that nobody played, that nobody wanted. But you're paying hundreds of dollars for that when you could pay $10 and then your kid could have toys to play with. So you're not thinking about your kid. So because you're not thinking about your kid and you hate capitalism, I win. Boom.
My kid has enough toys. My kid has enough toys.
See?
She does not need Skylanders in her life.
See? I win.
Yeah, okay.
So
I want to see how the comments go on this one.
Honestly, I have no idea if this thing is overrated or underrated.
I don't think our audience is going to have the most invested in Skylanders either.
But if anyone out there did play a lot of it, I am curious to know. Jim and I, like I said, we were suckers. We almost wanted to go out and get the legit starter packs for these.
To your point, thank God we didn't, because I would be the guy, you know how there's those...
You would have bought everything.
Oh, yeah. There's those wacko amiibo collectors out there who, to this day, still buy every single amiibo that comes out.
Oh, yeah.
And with the exception of, the Animal Crossing ones that you find at Five Below all the time, people don't get rid of theirs, at least for right now, because it's Nintendo. So you can find, literally, at thrift stores, you find these by the bucket load. So if you eventually went back and got into it, and this is me not fully knowing whether the games are playable anymore, or if, I know that it stores the stats on the chip, so I think there probably are, as long as you still have the console that it came with, that kind of deal. But I know Disney Infinity, I think a lot of that's kind of dead at this point and unplayable. So I think it depends on the game too and the franchise, that kind of deal.
Like you said, it was something that I was like, oh, maybe, but yeah, I just was
I would have walls and walls of little no-name characters all over there.
Exactly.
And they eventually added vehicles too.
Thank you, Jim.
You have a summary.
Damn it. So let us know what you guys think, if you played it or not, if it's overrated or underrated.